Welcome back, friends, to the Cactus Atlas. When we last met, we left Grand Teton and made our way towards southern Idaho with an overnight stop at Castle Rock State Park. Now it's time to head in and see what the park is about.
Campground drive-through complete. That was an easy one. I like easy ones. There's also this information panel here, and it explains to get to Castle Rock State Park, I do believe is what I thought. We have to go back out to the main road, turn left, and then it should be back the way we came. I might still stop at that visitor center though. It was crowded earlier, the visitor center. There's nobody out here, but that visitor center was, I didn't even see any parking, it seemed. But anyway, so far I like it out here a lot. But what we're gonna do now is I want to check out the state park. I think it, my impression of it, it says there's a lot of rock climbing here. If you're into the sport of rock climbing, I think that might be one of the main draws of these areas. But they also said there's historic sites in there and lots of hiking trails. So I like historic sites, as you know. So that's really what I want to find, but it would be really super helpful if I had a map. And I could just go straight to the park, assume there's an entrance gate where you would normally pay a fee, and hopefully I don't have to pay any more, because out of all of the, believe it or not, this might be one of, if not the most expensive campground. It's like the total was $57.68 for one night. The campground's $40. There's a transaction fee of $7, a 3% service fee. I'm sorry, there's another $10 fee, state tax. So they hit you up with a lot of various fees. You're not just paying for the campground. So that actually, for one night, that's pretty steep. Castle Rock State Park and Idaho State Parks. I mean, come on, that's a little, yeah, you got the showers and stuff there, but I don't think we've come close to hitting that. So this park better be, like, I better not have to pay to get into the main park, or I'm gonna be a little bit critical of that policy. But you could see up against these mountains, there's a lot of exposed, craggly rocks. So I'm assuming that's what we've come to see. But I guess I still am interested in this visitor center. Does it service both Castle Rocks and City of Rocks? Because it said City of Rocks. But I'm sure they would know. All right, I have now clarity on what all of this means and what's what. So there is City of the Rocks. City of Rocks is a preserve. It's free, you don't pay a fee to get into it. It's not a state park. And in fact, I was looking at my itinerary for tomorrow. I didn't realize that that's the way we're actually going anyway. There's all these stops, all these cool rocks, including another Register Rock, where off of the California Trail, which we just learned about at one of those historic stops, a lot of people were traveling through here back in the day. And there's another Register Rock, it's called that, and I have it on my stop for tomorrow. So I don't have to worry about spending any time today in the preserve. But she said if I were to see everything and we were to just drive through it and not like get out and walk around too much, it's probably like an hour and a half's worth of things to see. But if you get out of the car, take a lot of pictures and stuff, it's gonna take longer than that. I only have a portion of that to see. Okay, so that's what City of Rocks is. It's a preserve. There's no fee to go in. There's trails in there and like lots of rocks and some history stuff. Then there's Castle Rocks, which is what we're gonna check out today. That was my itinerary. Yes, my camping fees and stuff do cover me to go in there, but there's something we need that's back at the campsite that I didn't realize. On my post, I think there's a yellow card or something with my name on it, and it says good until whatever date. I need to put that here on my dash or on my visor, and that's basically what will get me into Castle Rocks without having to pay another fee. All right, now we're heading back. I just passed the visitor center, and I heard her talking. There's a couple restaurants. There's actually a steakhouse and pizza place. There's like a little inn over here too, but they look like there's nobody there. There's no cars, nothing. So I don't know. I think this is the town of Alamo, Idaho. They don't have cell service here, at least for Verizon, I can tell you that. Oh, there's a general store, and they actually have gas there, like a one pump gas station, but they probably have ice, which is my worry. Historic school from 1916. And the history of this area sounds awesome. It's like part of that California Trail, so that's why they had the wagons, which we'll take a look at later by the visitor center. Pretty cool. And is that, I know inside the house I saw like a historic ranch. I saw like a stone building that was similar to that, but I think that's just a private residence there, a private thing. But it's the parts of America that you don't frequently go to that you get to see. I'm always fascinated with it. I always, you know, I love the houses and the homes out in places like this. And very often, like, you know, I just passed one there. It's a beautiful grass yard, well kept, very clean. Some places have like really old log structures on the properties, like these people you probably couldn't see very well, but lots of history in this area. All right, I made it. I parked it. There's barely anybody here. And I think this is the only the main parking lot. There's a road that goes up that way to some picnic area. I want to see some dang rocks. So I think we got to walk this way. But I guess we got to do some walking to get back in there. But it's really pretty. I do like big rocks. I'm a big rock aficionado over here. We'll check this out and see what this has to say. Where are we? All right, I see now. We're here. So this is the Castle Rocks Trail. I think it goes up this way, and you could see there's lots of different trails. Yellow means foot, red means foot, horse, and bike. So maybe, I don't know how close we'll get. I'm not gonna do everything, there's no way. But what I do wanna see, there's some pictographs. So not petroglyphs, but pictographs over here. So when we're done, we'll come up that road that goes to the picnic area park, and then that would be somewhere in there, I believe. So that's cool. I do like me a good pictograph. I wasn't expecting to have to do this much walking today or hiking, but I'll take it. I could use the exercise. But I guess that's a good thing to know if you want to come explore the rocks. I don't see any way you can drive. Loop trail. Is that what I want to do? Why not? It is really cool back here, and as you approach these things, they don't look as tall from a little distance, but once you get up on them, they do tower over you like a castle. I kind of see why they'd call them Castle Rocks. A lot of spires and things like that. I don't know if this loop, I'm hoping it just goes like in front of the rocks and not like all the way around the whole thing, assuming there is a around the whole thing, because that wasn't my intent. I just want to get a little close up to these and check them out, but we don't have time to do a right proper scouring today. Just like it's like a Camp View drive-through, but on foot for a little park. You can pretend I'm the truck driving you through. It is really cool though. I'm digging this place. And what I assume are some kind of juniper trees. A lot more pines up this way. It's a little overgrown back here. kind of lonely. I like all the green, what I presume is sagebrush, juniper, and other pines. I hear voices too, somewhere off to the right. Ah, another sign. What is this? So I think I want to go to the right. So I'm trying to probably get back to the Castle Rocks trail. Man, it just gets more overgrown. Hopefully they don't have any ticks or rattlesnakes back here. These bushes with the dead leaves are loud if you rub up against them. I take it not a lot of people go this way. I saw some signs. I bet you the Castle Rocks Trail, there were some features that sounded like something rock climbers would name. So I don't know how many people just walk this for leisure like me to enjoy the strange geology back here. It is quite beautiful. Just all of the different colors and contrast between the rocks and the trees. You got trees actually growing up in the rocks. I don't know if you could see that well, but I do like this. And this is gonna get us up close like I was hoping, so I think I chose wisely. Very picturesque rocks. But you can see the trail is definitely a lot more overgrown than I'd say your average trail, but it kind of comes and goes. Like here's okay. Look at that weird formation over there too. I know I'm just giving you the nickel tour here, but now we can kind of start to see the rocks that were behind us this whole time. These are some interesting formations. The one over there reminds me of the aliens from the movie Aliens, like their heads. The xenomorphs, I think, are what they're called, right? What do you guys see? Looking at rocks and like imagining things is a fun, it's kind of like looking at clouds and coming up with your own imaginative things. This is beautiful back here. You really get up in these junipers. I'm calling them junipers because they have that juniper shape, that classic shape. So if I'm wrong, you can comment and let me know I'm wrong. I don't mind. And then let the audience know what they actually are in the comments. But pretty sure the ones that are kind of conic shaped are your juniper trees. And then the other ones, like by my campsite, I'm just gonna call pinyon pine for lack of nothing else. All right, I think this is the Castle Rock Trail. We hooked up with a loop trail somewhere down that way and walked all the way around like I was hoping in front of these rocks. And then there are people actually over there walking in deeper. But I'm gonna have to call it here, folks. I wanna keep exploring. I'm liking this place a lot. I wanna see what's back there. It probably gets even cooler back there, I would imagine, but there's different features like Braxikes pillar, lower comp wall, probably rock climber things. That would mean more to rock climbers than me. But maybe we should at least go see if we could peek around the corner and then just get some, well, you know what, no, because I want to see the pictographs. And there's this place over there, I think called Tiny Castle Rocks or Tiny Town. I think it's that feature over there. So I'm gonna go back to the truck and drive us up there, change the battery out on this thing. Before we do, let's take one more look close up of this landscape. I just love how these juniper and pinyon pine trees grow up into the rocks like that. You know, it is kind of tough. You know, we woke up really early, got the tent broken down, drove 4.5 hours with some stops, recording almost, you know, a lot of the time in the truck. I got to get here, set up camp, which we've done, checked it off the list, figure out what to do. Now we're here. Still got more I want to see. Then I got to go back to the camp again. I'm going to take a shower for sure. And then make dinner, and then get to bed at a reasonable hour so we can get up really early, break the tent down again, and then tomorrow we're driving to Nevada, but we got to go explore City of Rocks on the way out, and now that seems like that's going to be really awesome. And then yeah, then we'll be in Great Basin National Park for 2 days. I got more camp view business there to do. That's a big reason why I'm going there. It's to document their campgrounds. I do have a cave tour. I was able to secure one. So as long as they let me bring they say you can bring in handheld cameras, so hopefully this counts with my gimbal. And then basically, we're still not done after that. Then we got another state park after that. But really, I think as for camping nights, I got tonight, 2 nights at Great Basin, and then 1 more night at Cathedral Gorge. So I have 4 more nights in the tent, and then the last night will be at a motel that I frequent in the Boulder City area. A lot of you know what it is. All right, I'm curious now to see what we missed. I think what I essentially did is went up here, probably here, like that. And here's where I was like, oh, let's go left. Looks like there might be some cool trails that go into the rocks there, so I feel like I'm missing the best parts, but time is not on our side. This is really just a quick overnighter. But we will see the petroglyphs, darn it. Not gonna miss some petroglyphs. I'm sorry, pictographs, not petroglyphs. This must be the popular spot, actually. Everybody's parked over here. So let's go see if we can find pictographs. There's some aspen trees, weird. Like right here. It's really pretty. Wasn't expecting to see aspen trees like over here. These will be my first pictographs or petroglyphs or anything of that sort in the state of Idaho. As far as I know. Some really nice views back here, actually. I wonder if this is what it's like behind the rocks that we didn't go to. It's like a maze here, but there's a sign. See if it says, if it points us to the pictographs. Let's see. I don't know. I'm just gonna go this way because everything is this way. There's a picnic area back here somewhere. I know the pictographs are on this side of the rocks, somewhere back here. There's another sign coming up. Around the rock. Well, it's the only thing we can really do. That's not back to the parking lot, so by process of elimination, we're going this way. Is this it here? Oh, I think we found it. Ah, thank goodness. They're this way. Just like I was surmising, they're somewhere on here, I bet you, right over this way. Where are you, pictographs? I know you're somewhere on these rocks. You here? Sometimes you gotta look carefully. But we'll just stay on the trail until we find them. It's cool views though. Aha, I bet you this is it here under this overhang, and there's a sign. That's awesome. These might be hard to find. They look like that, the red things. And I'll explain what it means. I think I see one. They weren't discovered until 2003. But you see right there? Those squiggly lines? I think that's one of them. It's like someone took their finger with like reddish mud or something and just made squiggly lines. Really hard to see, and you can actually see, I think, other little markings and things in that same reddish color if you look carefully. Some up there. It's probably someone's fingertips that just went like, you know, like that. I know my nails are disgusting. Got dirt underneath them. I don't really see that represented anywhere, unless it's faded since the picture. So I'm guessing there's some more this ways. These are no Fremont people petroglyphs, or pictographs, I'm sorry. No, I think they're all here. It's the only place that I see with a fence like this to protect. You guys holler out if you see them. What? Oh, never mind. That is interesting. You gotta wonder how many more of these have been around but got washed away with time. It's a puzzle. I'm actually trying to look at the shape of the rocks and the coloration to figure out even where to look. It's like a game. I'm 98% sure though this is that. Would you guys agree? And then you do see, like I say, like the ones I took pictures of, that might be something right there. All of the action that I see seems to be right here, where you actually see, like, that almost looks like a bighorn sheep or something over there. So the reason why we're having a hard time is they were professionally documented, but they used polarized light in the camera to make them visible. It says a lot of this is not visible to the naked eye. So that's why I guess they had some kind of specialized equipment. I'm moving under here to get away from the wind a little bit, hopefully to make it better for you. Whoa, it's windy. Whoa. But yeah, I'm sure that's one of them. And I think the rest are like in this area there. And I think I could see kind of faintly like what was the middle picture, kind of in the middle there. But the interesting thing is they don't know who made them. They don't know the age of them. So that would be interesting. I don't know anything about the ancient cultures of this region. Like, you know, in my area, like the Hohokam, the ancestral Puebloans, the Fremont culture. Like, I'm starting to learn a lot more about those. But up this ways, I couldn't tell you, but maybe they were somehow related distantly to the same people. But clearly, probably someone was hanging out here. I don't know if that rock was like broken off like that. It could have been a nice little bench that someone back in the day, they just hang out here, maybe hide out from the weather. Maybe they lived under this rock. I don't know, I might even see some coloration up here that is kind of matching that reddish color. And like I always say on our show when we see pictographs and petroglyphs, just echoing what, you know, every single sign across the United States says, nobody knows what their actual meaning is. It really only had meaning to these people. Was it like a healing ceremony? This sign is asking, was it just some scribbling they were bored? We just can't know. These cultures didn't have a written language or record to tell us this. So I always point that out. There's always the one person that will tell you definitively they know what they are, but there is no evidence to back it up. If you're one of those people and you have evidence, share it. Don't just say it. My favorite things about these though, especially like right there, it's like those look like fingertips. So if you think about it, like a human being's actual fingers had that reddish stuff on them. Now that I'm sitting here looking more, you can, that is one of the major ones, I think, and maybe right there too. I'm trying to lean over to get you the best view, but this one's the most easily visible. But it's like the width of fingers, so you could see someone like rubbing their fingers, maybe all like 4 fingers, not the thumb, like just kind of like dragging them in like a curved pattern several times. And then you gotta wonder, like there's more up there. See that? It's like, it totally is like someone's fingertips. So to me, not knowing what they are is half the fun, because we can come up with our own stories and nobody's necessarily wrong about what it means. But I don't know. So what do you guys think it means, I guess? Like, there's really no wrong answers other than claiming that you know definitively what they are. I would disagree with you, and I would bet you don't have definitive proof. You wouldn't be able to even reference a book or article unless it's some kind of pseudoscientific work, which isn't allowed here in our scientific circle here. We're thinking of like archaeologists here, and without a written record, I just don't see how anybody could actually know definitively what it means, is all I'm saying. But you do get fantastic views of the park. That's the region we were in earlier when I did that little loop. But you actually can see the rocks a little bit better. Like, I like this vantage point better than where we were down there, to be honest. Anyway, one last look at this little pictograph area, and then I say we get back to the truck, and there's one other thing I want to check out on the drive out that I'll show you. Maybe for good measure we'll go this way in case there's more, but I think that's probably all it is. Oh, this is cool. We're gonna go between these rocks here. I bet you that a lot of the trails have this kind of cool stuff in it, where there's all these little crevices and nooks and crannies to explore. I totally could see this being someone's like stomping grounds though, back in the days when whoever made those things were there. So if they were discovered in 2003, and they're not dated, how do we know, like, if they're of antiquity? Like, I assume they're kind of making assumptions here that they're probably at least hundreds of years old. They're saying they don't know who left them, but how do we know it's not someone in the last, you know, I don't know, if it was 2003, how do we know it wasn't someone that did it in more recent times? I mean, I don't know. There must be a way to date that somehow. But I could totally see being here when the indigenous people were here, like they're probably just hanging out on top of the rocks, keeping a lookout maybe. Maybe you'd see little campfires rising up from this landscape or something like that. Their feet would have passed through here, stepping on these same rocks that we're walking on. And then after them, probably the people traveling the California Trail. What's my belief? I think they're from some indigenous people from pre-Columbian times. I would guess, based on other pictographs and things we see in these regions, I'm gonna just throw it out there for the fun of it. I guess maybe like 800 to 1,000 years old would be my starting bid. If we were doing a game show and we actually knew the objective truth about it, that would be my guess. And if we're bidding on it, 800 to 1,000 years. What is your guys' guess? Do you think they're that old? Do you think they're older? Do you think they were made by somebody in 2002, only to be discovered in 2003? I don't think there's any wrong answers, like I said on this one. And the other thing you have to think about is if they were that hard to spot, how many more of those things are hidden here yet undiscovered? I bet you there's tons of them. But if you need like special equipment to really see them, I mean, one of them you didn't. You could kind of make it out, but I wouldn't have thought that they were that. Even the squiggly ones would have been interesting. They would have gotten my attention if I noticed them, but I probably would have just thought it was some visitor that did it. Now I don't want to leave. Now I want to go explore and see if we could make discoveries like that somewhere. Some rock climber someday might find something cool. I don't know the rules of engagement if you're just allowed to explore whatever here. I assume so. So who knows? It's the exciting thing about our world is that's proof that things can still get discovered today that nobody knew about. 2003 is not that long ago, although it kind of is now. I'm getting old too fast. So this is definitely on my list to come back someday and maybe plant roots here for a couple days. This could be part of another future trip, like once I get employment and even a week-long vacation. This might be within reaching distance for me, and there's so much more to explore in Idaho that we'll definitely be back here. And seeing little pictographs is the thing that really gets me energized and wanting to come back. So I know this is quick and I regret it. I keep seeing names of trails that sound intriguing and fun that go between boulders, but we got to start heading back to the campground. One thing I wanted to check on the way out is not cows, although they're cute. That little baby right there. Say hello to these guys from behind the fence. Hey, biggin. You're a big one, aren't ya? Are you a good girl? Yeah, you guys never like people. They're always so skittish, cows. They don't mess around. And they're planning they're like waiting for me to make my move. That brown one, yeah, see, they're afraid. Oh guys, I'm not gonna bother you. I'll leave you alone. Go back to laying down. Oh, they kicked dust up though and it's blowing my way. What I actually came to see is this. I'll explain what this is. I knew about this before my trip and I thought about this. It's basically you can fish here. But you do need I think the Idaho state license, which I had when we were in Massacre Rocks, but I did not purchase one for today just because I don't have enough time. I'm not gonna spend the money for like 10 minutes of fishing. So this is apparently stocked with trout. So if I wanted to catch a trout, my best chance would certainly, out of anywhere I fished, would be here. Almost certainly. I bet you I'd catch something if I had a couple hours and it's the right time of the day. But it's actually really pretty. I didn't know there's a trail that goes around the little pond, but it would be a lot of fun. The water looks pretty deep too by the shore, so it'd be perfect for shore fishing. But yeah, I just wanted to come check it out really quick and see what it's like, so I know if I come back in the future and I had time, I could kill a morning here or late afternoon or something. Oh, what's really cool is I'm pretty sure I just saw a beaver. I saw something. Its butt was up in the air and it went into the water. They do have like a stuffed beaver in the visitor center. I know we're in Idaho and the French trappers came here, I think, for beaver pelts. So I don't know if they stock it with beavers too. Or was it something else? I think beavers can stay submerged for a while. I just caught a glimpse of it, like right when it went under. We'll wait a second and see. Beavers aren't things that I see every day, that's for sure, in my desert. Although, I'm pretty sure I saw one in the Glen Canyon Recreation Area when I was kayaking down there. I want to say I'm almost positive. That's a weird, you wouldn't think that would be what it is. Maybe it was something else, but whatever it was went underwater and I haven't seen it surface for a couple minutes. We're gonna give it one more look-see here. See if we see anything surface or moving that resembles a beaver. And maybe it was a duck or something, but ducks wouldn't go underwater like that, I don't think. while I'm over here, let's get one more view of the area we explored. That's like the area with the loop. And that over there is the area with the pictograph, or pictographs. It's a really pretty scene from back here. Good photo op. Any beavers in here? Make your presence known for YouTube. I'll make you famous. I don't think we're gonna have any luck with that. My suspicion is beavers can stay submerged for a long time. That's a fact I'll have to look up later. I'm curious though. So for perspective, if you could see way off in the distance there, that's where we just were at Castle Rocks, all those rocks sticking out of the mountains. I wanted to come back here, I forgot to look at this earlier. There are some displays related to the people that have passed through this area, including the indigenous people. Maybe these people's ancestors were the ones that did the petroglyphs, I wouldn't be surprised. And then here's a picture of immigrant wagon trains that pass through here. And today it's more like this. With the sign saying that it was between 1843 and 1869, hundreds of thousands of people came out this way. So you know the story of the American West and just people flooding in, and that's part of the story. And I'm guessing these are replica wagons. This doesn't really say what they are, but I assume this is a Conestoga wagon without the top. That's what it looks like to me. Imagine having to traverse the bumpy landscape in this thing without like modern shocks on it or anything like that. I don't know how accurate this is, but if this is it, I mean, there's not much space in there. I'm guessing this is a modern representation of it with benches for people to sit in and stuff, but imagine that. There's this little trail here and there's another one with a sign. So let's go over there and see if we can get more info. So this sign's interesting. There's a reenactment of what these things are. They're not Conestoga wagons. I was incorrect. Those were not what were used. These were called prairie schooners. They're smaller and more lightweight. A Conestoga wagon apparently would be a bigger thing that required a whole team of horses and wouldn't have been practical for the California Trail. So back in the day, you probably would have seen something like that. And they talk about how people walked like this whole trail, like 2,000 miles, because oftentimes they would just walk next to the wagon, not ride in it, because it would be so uncomfortable and they probably didn't have room. And this guy's saying how he just wrapped his feet in rags. He didn't have any need for boots because his feet were so swollen in 1852. So this here, I assume, is the prairie schooner then. A smaller wagon, so I mistakenly refer to it as a Conestoga. It's similar, I guess the top is similar. It would have had like canvas over it, and that's where they kind of equated it to ships traveling across the ocean, it says. And you'd see that canvas flapping in the wind like a sail almost. So they got the name prairie schooner because they kind of thought of it as, you know, crossing an ocean like a ship might cross an ocean. Other than here, it was a land, like 2,000 miles to cross, and something like that. It's just fascinating to think, because in the grand scheme of things, that wasn't that long ago, you know, in all of human history. About 150 years ago, or a little bit more at this point. Several generations ago. A lot of our ancestors, you know, not mine personally, but a lot of you watching it probably had people that crossed in those kinds of things. I made it back to the campground with all this fierce wind, man. It's definitely picked up over here too since I left. It's like, is my tent still gonna be standing? It better be, because I staked the heck out of it. And this ground was hard, so everything is still here and it looks great. This REI tent is the jam. Well, this will be home sweet home for the night. And I gotta study some routes and do a few other things, eat dinner, And now take a shower is gonna be the first order of business. So I can get that done, then eat dinner, then retire to the tent, study routes, probably try to back up a few clips on whatever space I have left on some of my devices, get as much as I can on there. And then from there, it'll just be SD cards the rest of the way. So I'm out of time. I've run my budget for the day. I can't believe it's already after 5 p.m. I feel like we just started the day. We were actually in Grovant campground this morning, and we're here, 4.5 hours away. We got to see some of Castle Rock State Park, some history. I learned some things I didn't know about the California Trail and the people that came through here. So it really is nice to scout these things out, to plan future adventures and dive deeper into those historical things in the future. But anyway, if you want to see City of Rocks, that seems like it's going to be cool, and I've got some good places mapped out. Tomorrow's road trip from here to Great Basin for me will be next week's video, most likely, if all goes according to plan. I always add that little caveat in there. But assuming all goes according to plan, we're gonna see some cool places, but I think it's a 6-hour drive I got tomorrow, so yikes. One of the longest ones. I keep saying that, but that's on par with like my first day and that over 6 hour drive I made. So we're gonna have a busy one, and I'm gonna have to get up super early tomorrow. So with that said, my friends, I'm gonna depart here, take care of myself, take care of my belly, take care of my hygiene, and then take care of my planning. So thanks again for joining me on yet another one of these Camp View Northern Tour 2025 here on the Cactus Atlas, as I've been calling it. Had a blast. I hope you did too. You got to see some of our beautiful country, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.